This is the Voices of Indy podcast hosted by Josh Gillespie. Voices of Indy is a show dedicated to giving you the opportunity to know the musical, visual, and theatrical arts of Indianapolis, Indiana. This week's guest is HXLY, Brandon Clark and Tyler Cobb. Guys, thank you for being on the podcast this week. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us.
You guys, Brandon, you just played a couple of really kick-ass songs there.
No, thanks, man.
On the live stream, which if you missed the live stream, that's okay. Everyone missed the live stream. But that's okay, because if you're watching this or listening to this, chances are I actually already have the live stream up on YouTube, and you can check it out there. But guys, yes, thank you for being on this week. I really do appreciate it. I am just thrilled. Tell me a little bit again about yourselves, where you come from, and a little bit about your background, your musical background. So,
sure.
Brandon, you started off last time.
I was going to say, to kind of bounce off. So Tyler talked about kind of really being in the thick of like early 2000s, the pop punk scene, and I kind of I was like I was a little late on the come up to actually like going to shows and being in the scene. Like, so I didn't actually join a band until I was in college. I was 21. We were probably a band for a solid 18 months. We played at the Melody once, played at Birdie's.
I didn't know you played at the Melody.
Yeah, we played like twice when I was like 20 and before I could drink. But we were called Get Awesome, and we were like a super. I know. Name. I thought it was good. Yeah,
that's a really good band name.
We were hardcore.
Where was that when we were naming HXLY?
No.
No.
There was a time when like Metro Station and like the highlighter colors, that like pop punk era, like that was really big. But that was the first like foray into actually trying to play music with other people. Previous to that, just been playing like acoustic guitar by myself. When I got to college, I sang we were revamping our music program, so I sang in the men's chorale and the mixed chorus. Then moved afterwards, did arts chorale, the Indianapolis Arts Chorale here, because my choir director I went to Franklin College, just south of Indianapolis, and our choir director was the choir director for the Indianapolis Arts Chorale, so I sang in that for a bit. But really just self-taught, looking at guitar tabs. Gospel music, church music was really big. Spent a lot of time at church growing up. So like my favorite rapper is Chance the Rapper. Has a lot of anything with like a lot of gospel in it. Like really big fan of. I feel like pop punk and gospel music are kind of the same, just like how country music and pop punk's kind of the same.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like being amped about something else entirely. But yeah, it's. I
feel like that's a greater conversation about, especially pop punk and country. That's a conversation.
Well, it's complaining about where you are and then partying. Yeah. And that seems like, but it's kind of like two different, trains of thought. There.
Sure.
So really just like self-taught stuff. Played when I was in Chicago. I was really trying to do that like Ed Sheeran loop pedal like singular thing, like which is a lot of fun. It really sucks to do by yourself though. It's like so hard to be in a band by yourself and make music that sounds big enough to make sense for just you doing it. But not having drums are like a big whoop playing live. So that's I'm very grateful that we've all been able to find each other and keep this project going, because I was not having nearly as much fun doing it on my own. But I think all that like really prepared me to come here and be able to play. We play like once a month on average, I think, live, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Every other month.
Yeah. So I think that was really big. Being on stage and kind of getting how to do that in an organized way. I think there has been a 10-year culmination of that, because Get Awesome, we didn't know what we were doing. We were like borrowing a drummer from another band. I was playing an acoustic guitar with an acoustic pickup through an amp and like an overdrive pedal, like very weird Scott Pilgrim versus the World kind of thing.
Yeah,
we didn't sound good. We didn't sound good. I don't think our bass player knew how to play at all, or we didn't practice at all. So we are like heads and shoulders above that as far as, and I'm really enjoying our musical capabilities. I'm proud of us.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Tyler, what about you, man?
Yeah, I want to say something to what he said. One of the best things about this is, it's great just to play with people, and I tell people who don't play music or have never played in a group that they're and I'm sure you know this, whether you like the people or not, like there is no feeling like being in the pocket with 2, 3, 4 other musicians. You got a drummer, you got bass, guitar, right? Just being in that pocket. There's no feeling in the world. But when those 3 people are also all just, legit best friends. I don't think in 3 years either one of us. Have either one of us ever even raised our voice?
Not really, no.
But we're able to collaborate. We're able to write songs. We're able to get it done. And so I just want to point out that I think that's the best thing about it. It's like it's. Getting to play music with your friends. I just want to say like that's, and I don't know if everybody that's in a band or everybody that's, plays music, in a group necessarily experiences that. They get to experience that joy of being in the pocket and, that of course, but like after practice and after you put your, I couldn't think of 2 better guys to be playing with. And I don't just say that, so, I think it was 7th grade. My stepbrother got a bass for Christmas, and he wasn't playing it. And, I was kind of the jock of the family. I think my voice just cracked there. That was funny.
Jock?
Jock. And it was a a Squire, precision bass, black and white,
classic.
Right? And, finally I picked it up, and I thought, guitar, to me, especially growing up on, Aerosmith and Clapton and even Johnny Cougar, guitar to me was just way too complex. But I was like, 4 strings, I think, and slowly just and then Blink-182 was getting big, and MXPX Chick Magnet was the first song I ever learned on bass, and then you start learning the Blink songs, and it's like, wait, is it really just?
Yep.
It really is.
Wait, is it really just?
Yeah, it's not.
It is. But then you learn. But then you learn.
Green Day starts to move into like walking bass lines.
Green Day Minority.
Yeah.
That still is a complicated piece to play. I got to play that for 3 or 4 minutes before I could.
Did you fancy yourself like wanting to be like Mike Dirnt?
I think, I'm not gonna lie, right? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But, I think, as we've been doing it lately, it's just it's kind of been fun to recognize how I've been, and you'll never hear me call myself an artist. I don't consider myself an artist. I don't even consider myself a musician. I just like rocking out, writing songs, playing the bass, right? But yeah, I think the funnest thing is like when I look at some of the parts I have in my songs and how I play bass, it's like, there's elements of Mike Dirnt, some elements of Mark Hoppus, of, Ian Grushka, of, some of my most favorite, musicians that there are. But, I'd be lying. I'd be lying if I didn't sit here and say that if a comparison any of those types, and
you got to have your inspiration.
I'm not saying you made that. I'm not saying you made that comparison.
No, I wasn't. But you have to.
But yeah.
But you have to find the people that you look up to when you pick up an instrument.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
if there's a style that you feel like you can emulate.
Yeah.
Or you can learn and then kind of make your own, because it sounds like that's what you're doing now. It's
that's
like
what being a musician. Everybody feels like a fraud because they do that. That's what every single person does.
When I got in my stoner years, when I got in my stoner years, like senior year of high school, after I've been playing bass a couple years, playing like that, I'll never forget. I learned the entire Bob Marley Legend album front to back.
Nice.
And I think for the most part, I still remember most of the runs in that album. But that's when I really felt like I learned how to. I still don't really think I understand bass, to tell you the truth. Going back to I would never consider myself a musician, but I can if I learn something, I'm really good at I can remember a pattern. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of what bass work is. In musical work it's learning the patterns.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So as one who had to kind of teach himself how to play bass for my own album.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so for my album, I had to, I played bass on all but one of the songs, and that was only because the guy who played leads on, because I'm a rhythm guitar player. If I'm a kind of guitar player at all, I'm rhythm.
Same.
I'm not a lead guy.
Not a shredder. No,
Yeah, no.
Not a lick man. I can do a hook maybe, but not
Yeah.
a super.
No, exactly. That's just not me. But so I had to have someone who could play leads. But he's also a bassist by trade. And so he was listening to my album and he's like, "Hey, I really like this song. Is it okay if I play bass on that?" And I was like, "Go right ahead because you're actually a really killer bassist."
Yeah.
And so it's like you hear the album and it's like, guitar player playing bass, guitar player playing bass, guitar player playing bass, and then it's bass player playing bass.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so that's what that's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
Sure,
It's
Well, don't sell yourself short. I'm
Yeah.
sure you did better than you think you did.
Oh, I'm pleased with how it turned out. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
I am pleased with how it turned out. Now, you mentioned earlier in the podcast, or excuse me, in the live stream, that you had been in a band that had opened for My Chemical Romance and The Used.
Yeah.
How did that even come about?
It came about because a gentleman by the name of Joe Adams had started managing our band when we were seniors in high school, and he worked at the Emerson. I forget his exact, title role. I don't know if he was booking bands or what it was, but that and back in that day when those types of bands would come through. I mean, I remember seeing Simple Plan, Good Charlotte at the Knights of Columbus off of 79th and.
You're kidding me.
Keystone. No, that was 2003. That was at the height.
that was right.
That was when I think that's when Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous was. Was a right.
I was hearing Good Charlotte on the radio in D.C. because I was living in D.C. at the time. And,
really?
Well, in 2001, 2002,
Yeah.
I was, and that's the first time I ever heard Good Charlotte.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, so this is a band that's kind of taken off. They're
Yep.
pretty good. And to say that they played the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah. Right at the height, right at their height too, and with Simple Plan too. When I'd Do Anything was a smash hit, but in those days, at those concerts, there'd always be a local band that opened. And we just that tour was coming through, and he just I think realistically threw us a bone, and
That's awesome.
Got us to open that show.
That's
and,
pretty rad. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. This day, probably one of the most coolest things that's in terms of playing a live show that I've ever played. I mean, right? I mean, I'd be lying.
Yeah.
But I mean, and of course, at that point, nobody ever. At that point, nobody knew what My Chemical Romance was about to become.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the Used. I think everybody they were already kind of huge at that point.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
But. Yeah, so it's funny, but of course those things give you the taste and make it give you something to hang on to when you're doing this stuff.
No, exactly. What has it been like for you guys, to build up here and build in community here in Indianapolis? What's the pop punk scene like in Indy? Tell me a little bit more about your experiences in that. And you said earlier that you would love it if you were Indianapolis famous.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the most fun I've had, not only playing with these dudes, but meeting everybody in the community. Is once you start to remember everybody or go to enough shows, it really starts to be fun. So is there are there any other pop punk bands in Indianapolis? Sort of. Everybody's doing kind of harder punk, or they're doing.
Is there?
I'm not sure. So there are some bands that are more, I would say, instrumental.
I hate the term for pop punk. By the way, to me, it's all just rock and roll. But I'll go with it. But no, but yeah, I can't think of anybody that's playing the, fast melodic, I guess pop punk.
Yeah.
And
right sort of the type of songwriting.
I don't say that, altruistically or anything like that.
It's just what everybody happens to be doing.
Which sounds okay. I mean, sounds okay. I miss them.
They're kind of more
so
just like indie. I mean, I would kind of say everybody's like indie at this point.
Sure.
It's kind of tough to water it down. But I see. Truly, I see the younger kids or kids our age liking more instrumental bands or more
that's interesting.
Polyphia kind of bands, and then just straight up hardcore punk and post-hardcore. and then a huge slew of really good just indie alternative, like really cool indie pop or shoegaze. There's a couple shoegaze bands around, but it's fun to see just how hanging out with everybody at hanging out at the Mel or Black Circle or there's State Street Pub, the Hi-Fi to some extent, and the Hoosier Dome. Everybody's rocking out like really hard. I really feel like whatever genre it is, it's a very interesting iteration of that. And I really do truly like the Indianapolis music scene. If we could be, it would be great to be bigger. It would be great if people came to Indianapolis for the music.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anybody would say that now. For any reason.
Well, no.
In any direction.
This is actually a conversation that I had with one of my previous guests, that it would be nice if people made it in Indiana, that when they left here, they would be like, they'd be all about being like, I'm from Indy.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you look at bands like the Black Keys, they are all about being from Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
And or other bands where they're just like, I am all about. Wait a minute, is it Akron or Dayton? I can never remember.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I think it's Akron. But I mean, the thing is that some of these bigger bands out there or artists, when they go on tour, like they embrace the fact that they are from their hometown. But you don't necessarily see that from people from Indianapolis when they start making it beyond Indianapolis.
I think that's what is a head scratcher for me is you don't see many artists, really landing it on a large scale from Indianapolis. I mean, you see artists that get a taste of it and release albums and get national exposure, but in terms of like really, I mean, there's no Foo Fighters from Indy, right? I mean, you got the Y Store, you got. I mean,
like
Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, of course, right? But, I mean, is there a kick-ass?
The Y Store really haven't been anything for about 20 years.
Well,
just had a show last week, but I'm not even sure.
Yeah, but actually, I think...
I don't, Chris Schaefer, no offense to you, brother, but I mean...
They might have been at the State Fair,
But, you had Transmatic back in the 90s that, released an album and had a top something hit, but, I mean, if someone were to ask you, I mean, Johnny Cougar, he's from Seymour, but...
Yeah.
Can you name a rock band from Indy?
Nope,
Can you name a band from Indy?
Literally can't.
I can't either.
Right. No. So I think in terms of that question, it's like I think
there might be a country artist here too that I'm not familiar with. That
really?
Might be.
Yeah, probably.
Scotty, whatever. And the kid with the low voice, isn't he from Indiana?
Yeah.
Scotty.
But, it's country. I'm not listening to it.
Yeah, right. to your question though, I mean, I think that's yet to be determined because there aren't any bands that really come out of Indy, but and that's crazy too because there's so many good bands that come out of Chicago. Well, I take that back, right? What was the Hubert's band?
Margo and the Nuclear So-and-So.
But it's like he was from Broad Ripple, but then he went up to Chicago, and then all of a sudden was from Chicago.
I mean, that's like my whole thing.
I mean, it's like you had an entire album that dropped Broad Ripple references left and right.
I know, Broad Ripple.
Actually, that's like their number 2 song.
Yeah. So I
is it just Indiana? It's just like it's hard to be proud to be from Indiana. Like legit, straight up, it is. It's really hard sometimes just because of I don't know.
Not for me, but
I have a hard time with.
I think I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, I'm not. It really doesn't at times feel like the state embraces the arts just at all, and that's kind of tough. But there is no lack of resolve of people making music around, and we could really be something country music wise, like too. Like I'm not a big fan of that, but we really like are right down the middle. We could be Tennessee Junior or Nashville Junior if we really wanted to.
You know what though too? There's so many good. And I was about to say, I stopped what I was going to say because I realized I'm sitting here with my, in a studio of my friends and everything, but. There really are like a lot of great studios that have a lot of amazing world-class recording artists that come through town. I mean, Wu-Tang, when they were in town the other night, they were at
Sublime.
I can mention Round Table,
Sublime
right?
was at the Pop Machine.
Yeah, Sublime.
It's not like people don't come in here and record.
That's true.
Speaking of recording studios, we are currently in the Engine Room Recording Company. It is located in Broad Ripple Village, just north of downtown Indianapolis, and it specializes in making your projects go. Podcasters, bands, audio bookers, rappers, singers, songwriters, and everyone in between, the Engine Room Recording Company, where we are recording this podcast, has the engineers, the equipment, and the environment to fuel your projects. Check out Broad Ripple's recording studio by visiting for more information on their on their services, the artists they've recorded, and the gear that they have at engineroomrecordingcompany.com. And be sure to visit their Instagram page by searching at Engine Room Recording Company. But you're right, there are a lot of spots where people come in and record in the town. Azimuth being another big place in town.
Yep, absolutely.
That have had national acts come through.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
But the one thing that I have found doing this podcast, and getting to know people within different scenes, is one, there is a lot of unique sounds in Indianapolis currently.
Agree. 100%.
I know that there are scenes.
Yeah.
The hardcore scene's pretty big in Indianapolis.
Definitely.
Hip hop scene is actually fairly strong in Indianapolis.
It is, yeah.
But there are a lot of unique sounds taking place in Indianapolis. When I've had Americana, blues-ish, pop rock, Status Quo. I'm not entirely sure how I would label Status Quo. But a little more harder edged rock. But he did an acoustic set for me. Yeah. And even my last guest, Keith Beatty, who is kind of a soul singer songwriter. I mean, all these different varieties of music in town, and now pop punk. Which I know you hate. Sorry to keep on throwing that out there. But
it's fine. It is what it is, and I didn't. I mean,
that's the best.
I'm just saying. To me, I don't. To me, it's just all rock and roll. But
I hear
we're capable of writing a non-pop punk song, but still being the same band. I think is the
exactly.
A ballad, and just because it may not be pop punk,
but it's interesting to see all these and hear all these different sounds and realize there's quality here, serious quality here.
So to your point, right? Like we were just talking right before this about, we play on Friday, September 23rd at the Melody Inn, the legendary Melody Inn, and we play at 10. There's another band at 11, and then a couple of pilots. If you've never seen them, they're great. They close the show at midnight, right? And I guarantee you, if you come to that show, you're going to see us. I'm not sure I'm familiar with the second band. I'm familiar with a couple of pilots. And you're going to see three unique sounds of music. And it's all going to be, I'm not going to speak for us, but, it'll be a quality product,
Yes.
And so to your point, like there's just one, microcosm of what you're saying, right? And one show that we have coming up, that I can speak directly to,
Yeah, no, exactly. What have you guys enjoyed most about playing out here in Indianapolis and getting out there and getting your brand of music out there?
Yeah.
What's been a highlight for you?
The
Dave from the Melody Inn.
I
love Dave.
Obviously making connections with everybody.
He's just
I like drinking beer, so drinking beer and playing music is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's chatting it up with people's great. Like shows are fun to me because there's you can be friends with anybody at any given time at a show. And that's really fun to me. Getting better as a musician and really sorting through our sound is really the best thing about playing out. I have way more confidence in our ability to play and my ability as a musician and what it takes to put together a musical act. And that's been like nice to really just learn the ropes of what it means to be like live performing.
Yeah.
Because kind of once you figure it out in one little setting, as long as you aren't moving from like a 30-person place to a giant arena, you're kind of doing more or less the same thing. And it's been a lot of fun to do all that, use our gear, get better and really just rock and roll with people.
Yeah. Man, that sounds like a blast. And I mean, are there things that you are looking forward to? Like, what are your do you have like aspirations that you're looking forward to other than becoming indie famous?
Indie
I don't know.
famous.
Are there any venues that we haven't played at that you're like itching to play at? I'm trying to. We haven't played at the Hoosier Dome yet. I'd really like to play at the Hoosier Dome.
Oh, really?
We played at Black Circle. We played at the High Five. We played at. We need to get back at State Street, but really kind of making sure, because all these venues really deserve on their own merit. The people who book the shows, the bartenders, like whatever. These are good places to see music, and
They are.
And they're out there booking stuff every single day. Like, I know how difficult it is to get 3 people's schedules lined up. To get 5 people pointing in the same direction is really hard. But any of kudos to all these businesses for making it through COVID. That really sucked, and good for them. B, they're doing a great job booking these bands. And to me, having a good place to play where you welcome everybody, and but you're constantly booking good places, is a real treat. But we were booked at State Street, and we had to.
Hi-Fi Annex would be fun to play.
Yeah, I'd like to play at the Hi-Fi Annex.
Oh yeah, I had COVID.
Yeah. Every band went through that. Everybody got it just over December.
But Brandon stepped up. He went and did his
a little
Ed
acoustic
Sheeran loop stuff.
Yeah, we did some loops.
I mean, it's like that's the thing. It
wasn't the same as the full band thing, but
we didn't want to back out and just say no, right? We'd like to figure out a reason, a way to, right?
Yeah, that and trying to support some other artists that aren't exactly from Indianapolis. We're trying to build some relationships with regional folks.
Oh, cool.
There's this place called Mag Bar in Louisville that's been booking a lot of bands that we play with at the Melody.
Oh, really?
Like Village Elder?
Village Elder,
yeah.
And somebody else off the top of my head. Yeah. But and then we've been in contact with some folks from St. Louis, but really kind of just trying to get a regional.
Becoming not just indie famous, regional famous.
Regional famous. Oh my God, we could be famous.
Midwest famous.
South Midwest. Yeah. We could. I
want to be clear. I think when he says famous, he just means enough.
I know.
That people would come to our show voluntarily.
To where it would make sense for us to make the trek and be able to justify, the expense associated.
I am aware. I'm aware.
Honestly, like it's awesome just to have a reason to go to Guitar Center and buy strings anymore. Well, actually, I don't need to because I get all my strings now at Engine Room Recording Company,
which has a variety of Ernie Ball products. If you should ever need strings, picks, capos, apparel.
Ernie Ball.
Or other things, please stop at 841 East Westfield Boulevard.
That was a wonderfully placed advertisement right there.
I appreciate that. I think money's fake or whatever, so I'm not like interested in getting rich or I have like
I'll take yours.
I have like a real hard problem with that. But I really just want to go to these venues. Really, I want to be in a band to play at these venues, so people will continue to come to these. And my goal is always to make our shows like as much of a good time party as they can be, because chances are you don't know who my band is when we get up on stage, but you'll probably remember either how loud we were or how energetic we were, and those are two things I would choose to be over almost anything else.
Yeah,
I think the best compliment to me has always been, well, it didn't suck.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, that sounds weird, but honestly,
we played
that to me is
Porch
just
Fest
always
last
been
year, and a lot of the bands that are playing there are like jam bands, like cover bands, like a singer-songwriter, one guy, maybe two folks. It's something pretty tame, and we had never met the folks whose porch we were playing on until like day of.
Oh, really?
And so we start, dragging our gear up there, and we're
respectful about it, though.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're going to be loud. We're going to be louder than everybody. But afterwards, and it was some 50-year-old, regular Carmel folks is what I would say. And they said, actually, it wasn't that bad, or actually, I kind of liked it. I was like, you know what, that's
enough. Yeah,
that's enough for me. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, there has to be a clear difference between playing, Indianapolis and then Porch Fest in Carmel.
There is.
Well, you don't want to be dropping F-bombs in Carmel, you know? I mean,
Yeah, I'm
just
trying
out
to
of
avoid
respect.
that. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're saying
in
you're not going
Carmel.
to play Thumb War in Carmel, huh?
I'll probably change some of the words. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a song that goes, you know, F this shitty town, F this shitty town. Actually, rehearsal.
You probably don't want to
night-
play that in Carmel.
No, at the
Yeah.
rehearsal the other night, our drummer, we're like, we're going to scrap it. He goes, why don't you just do straight through the roundabout, straight through the roundabout? And we're like, oh my God.
So
Because
do
then,
that,
then it
yeah.
goes, I'm moving on. And basically
Yeah.
we do it. And at the end of the song, we're just like, man, it's kind of just like, yeah, a euphemism for just getting out of this town as quick as possible. You know, straight through the roundabout. You know, ignore this, just go,
That's
you know,
funny.
bust through it.
Yeah,
and-
I like
So,
oscillate
yeah,
between thinking
but yeah,
that
yeah, it's,
not following the rules is rock and roll. Like you
yeah.
should just
Sure.
kinda,
The hard thing is my hopefully my daughter who turns 5 on
it's
Sunday
like
is
kinda
going to
the other
be
stuff.
at that show for her first time to see us. So,
Aha.
and I think, you know, just you know, in terms of respect to
invited
your
us
audience,
there,
we don't,
you know, and
they
like
invited
that
us there.
kinda
We don't want to
stuff,
sit there in
yeah.
the middle of Carmel singing F this.
Yeah, no. I
See, a
think-
little
you know.
bit of me does, and that's the whole point of writing it. 'Cause I'm like, you know,
yeah. But
Yeah,
we,
not-
we
not-
have some tact.
if
We
you're
have some
not
tact.
from Carmel, you just think
Yeah.
that it's whatever. And I'm not from Carmel, but
we're smart enough though.
yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity, and you know, we want to have.
And I don't mean to drag Carmel. It's
Yeah.
just that there's a difference
no.
between.
Well, I would like for everybody to have fun over me getting
Yeah.
whatever stupid statement out that I feel like I
Sure.
need to get,
Well,
because
it's not necessarily Carmel. It's the difference between, you know, rocking the Mel or rocking the hi-fi on a Friday,
Exactly.
Saturday night at 21 plus, or rocking a venue where there's going to be children and families.
Exactly.
That's the only difference.
That is
right?
the difference.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
exactly. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
again, a part of me wants to ruin it because that's what rock and
But
roll
I did
is,
go to
but,
HXLY.
That's
yeah,
also the
like,
punk rock.
that's kinda
I
the
mean,
point
that's not
is-
even pop punk. That's
yeah.
punk rock
I'm
right
sort
there.
of a maverick and
So
don't
you're
give a shoot, but
playing.
I
I know
kind
what
of
you're
dial
playing.
that back. Yeah.
You're playing the original lyrics for. I love it. I love it.
I would say
See,
a lot
honestly,
more
the thing is,
specific stuff.
Going back,
I just-
going back to how we never argue. Like I'm always just.
well, you
You know,
don't want to.
we're on. Like, if he does that, it'll just crack me up. Like, we get the biggest kick out of each other. You know, it's like,
Yeah, I'd be
you
a little
know,
more
I
veiled
prefer
about it.
I
but
prefer he
there's
didn't, but it's
stuff
not like
I'd
I'm
like to
gonna
see
give
him.
him an earful afterwards if he
Yeah.
sings the original lyrics. I'll probably be like, touche.
Now, you, Tyler, seem to be like one of like the biggest proponent of Huxley that I think I have seen.
Sure.
And I love that about you. Like I see that you have a flag hanging from your house. Like I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Are you getting in any trouble with the HOA
no,
over that?
So to be clear, I replaced that with an American flag about 2 days later. I get a kick out of social media, and I did want to see if there'd. I
applaud you, man. I applaud you.
I just got a kick out of it. I thought it'd be a funny post. And,
If people are hanging up, you know, sport related flags, why
Yeah.
can't you throw up a flag for your band?
yeah, right.
Um,
yeah.
No, I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
Yeah, no, that was just a flag I made that was kind of like our first banner, you know.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that's where it came from, right?
Ever
It was that
had,
banner.
yeah. Yeah, so it's funny question. That's funny.
I really appreciate it because, like, you know, being in a band is a group project that takes 4 years, 5 years. Just like, you know, putting on a play or production or whatever is getting 40 people pointed in the same direction at the same time is very hard, and just
Yeah.
even getting the three of us pointed together is very difficult. But yeah, your social media game's on point, man. That's
Dude,
Yeah,
it is
that's why-
on
that's why-
point.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's,
appreciate it. That's, you know, it's funny. So our drummer, you know, runs Tapper's Arcade, and he does social media too. And he just says, you know, I've asked him for tips and stuff, and he goes, man, he's always told me from day one, I have no tips from you. He's like, I have no idea what works. Like the stuff that I don't think is going to get a lot of likes gets like a lot of likes, and the stuff that I think is going to like, you know,
That's the way
break
it
the
goes.
internet, like gets like 5 likes. And he's like, I have no, you know, and
That's
so
the way it's gonna go.
But yeah. Anyway, I do want to point out though, it's you know, a lot more than just you know, the three of us. I mean, without Anthony, without you know the venues wanting to book us, without
all our other friends that are in bands and stuff that have us around. Yeah.
yeah,
It really is.
that.
That's why it's fun. You know,
yeah.
to me, playing live is the thing I wanna do. I wouldn't really care if nobody listened to us or if we didn't make any money, but you know, playing live for the sake of contributing to Indianapolis music scene is the altruism I'm going to find in here just to pat myself on the back.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, if you like what you're hearing, today's podcast is sponsored by Indianapolis Independent Entertainment. They can help you with the very things that Brandon and Tyler are talking about. IIE's LLC's goal is to help grow local DIY artists, freelancers, and businesses within Indianapolis and generate more paying creative opportunities. Their mission is simple: to establish a network of creatives who excel in areas of need and connecting them with other network members. This way, they can help to expand the local art and music scenes. IIE believes that by eliminating some of the intimidating barriers, I can get that out, within the entertainment industry, more opportunities will be produced for local freelancers and businesses. This will help Indianapolis become the place to go for art and music in the Midwest. If you are interested in learning more, go to their website, IndieEnt.com. That's INDIEENT.com, and discuss how you and IIE can redefine making it together by filling out a free application. Guys, is there anything that I've missed? Because we've covered a lot of material tonight.
Chatted about a lot.
Yeah, we have chatted about a lot, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
so we had the live stream, we've had the podcast. What have I missed? What do people need to know about Huxley that we may not have covered quite yet?
That's a great question.
Want to talk about upcoming shows?
Yes, let's talk about the upcoming gigs.
Yeah. Porch Fest is let's see,
Sunday,
a week from this coming Sunday, September 18th. We'll be playing at 2:15.
Yep.
I can't remember what
140
house number
3rd Northwest Street.
Okay, 140.
Yeah, it's number 6, house number 6.
House number 6.
Yep.
Nice. Way to go, Tyler.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, I didn't know that. You should go to the whole thing. It's a real treat. They have obviously food, drinks, and all that. But we'll be playing at 2:15, I believe, is our slot. 2:15 to 3.
Yep, 2:15 to 3. Yep.
We'll have some Porch Fest exclusive merchandise, stickers, a short limited run demo that we're going to put out.
Fun.
And then that following Friday, we're playing at the Melody with the Breaks and a couple pilots.
Yeah.
Which I'm very
That's going to be a
excited
big show.
Yeah,
It'll be fun. Yeah.
from 6 to 9 is
I think
Hillbilly
this
Happy
is only
Hour.
our second Friday or
show?
Saturday
Yeah.
show at the
I think it is
Melody
too,
Inn.
yeah.
So those
That's
are
exciting.
always a treat in Indy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being on the podcast this week. I'm thrilled. I've been talking to Huxley, HXLY. You can find them at Huxley Band on Facebook as well as on Instagram, where most of that's where Tyler's game is
all the
strong.
Good social media,
all the good social media stuff. It's strong. He's got the A game. Guys, thank you again for being on this week. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah.
I've been Josh Gillespie. This has been Huxley. Thank you for tuning in this week, and we will be back again next week when my guest will be the cast from Tick Tick Boom. It's going to be exciting stuff, and looking forward to that. See you next time.
See ya.